Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled among rolling hills and lush forests, there lived a prince named Frederick. Prince Frederick was not your typical royal. He was known throughout the land as the clumsiest prince to ever grace the kingdom. His clumsiness was legendary, and it seemed that no matter what he did, disaster was sure to follow. Prince Frederick lived in a magnificent castle that stood tall at the center of the kingdom. The castle was a grand spectacle, with towering spires, shimmering windows, and lush gardens that stretched as far as the eye could see. But despite the castle's grandeur, it was not immune to the prince's clumsiness. One sunny morning, as Prince Frederick attempted to enjoy a simple breakfast of scrambled eggs, he managed to knock over a pitcher of orange juice, sending it cascading across the table and onto his plate. The eggs were drenched, and the prince sighed in frustration. His loyal servant, Cedric, rushed to his side with a towel, but as he reached for it, he tripped over his own feet and sent the towel flying into the air. It landed squarely on top of the prince's head, covering him in a white shroud. "Apologies, Your Highness," Cedric said, his face turning as red as the prince's cape. Prince Frederick couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of it all. "Oh, Cedric, you're just as clumsy as I am." And so they both laughed as they struggled to untangle the towel from the prince's head. As the days passed, the castle became a place of constant mishaps and laughter. Prince Frederick's clumsiness knew no bounds. He tripped over rugs, spilled ink on important documents, and even managed to get himself tangled in the curtains during a royal audience. But despite the chaos that seemed to follow him everywhere, the prince remained cheerful and kind-hearted, endearing himself to the kingdom's subjects. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Prince Frederick wandered into the castle's library. He loved to lose himself in the pages of books, for they provided a respite from his daily mishaps. As he perused the shelves, his eye caught a particularly old and dusty tome tucked away in a forgotten corner. Curiosity piqued, the prince reached for the ancient book and began to flip through its pages. The pages were filled with intricate illustrations of castles, dragons, and knights in shining armor. But what fascinated him most was a passage that described an enchanted castle hidden deep within the kingdom's forest. Legend had it that this castle held a magical secret, a secret that could only be unlocked by someone with a pure heart and a genuine spirit. The castle was said to be a place of wonder and enchantment, a place where the ordinary became extraordinary. Determined to discover the enchanted castle, Prince Frederick embarked on a journey into the heart of the forest. He donned his clumsiness like a cloak and set forth with Cedric by his side. The forest was dense and filled with towering trees, their branches reaching out like ancient guardians. Birds sang melodies that echoed through the leaves, and the air was filled with the earthy scent of moss and wildflowers. As they ventured deeper into the forest, Prince Frederick's clumsiness continued to manifest. He tripped over roots, got tangled in brambles, and even accidentally startled a family of rabbits, sending them bounding away in a flurry of fur. Yet he remained undeterred, for he knew that his heart was pure and his spirit was genuine. Hours turned into days as they journeyed deeper into the forest. Finally, they stumbled upon a clearing bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun. At the center of the clearing stood a magnificent castle, its spires reaching for the heavens. It was the enchanted castle of legend, and it was more beautiful than Prince Frederick could have ever imagined. As he approached the castle, a sense of wonder washed over him. The castle's gates swung open on their own, inviting him inside. Prince Frederick and Cedric entered, and they were greeted by a world of enchantment. The walls were adorned with tapestries that came to life, telling tales of brave knights and noble quests. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling, casting a warm, magical light that danced across the room. In the heart of the castle, they discovered a grand ballroom filled with swirling colors and ethereal music. Prince Frederick, always the clumsy dancer, took Cedric's hand and they twirled and spun with abandon. To their surprise, their movements became graceful and fluid, as if the castle itself were guiding them. The enchanted castle seemed to know the prince's heart, and it transformed his clumsiness into something beautiful. Every mishap turned into a moment of magic. When he stumbled, he was lifted by an invisible hand. When he spilled a glass of water, it transformed into a cascade of sparkling stars. Prince Frederick realized that the true magic of the enchanted castle was not in the extraordinary, but in the ordinary made extraordinary. It celebrated the imperfections and quirks of those who entered its walls, turning them into moments of wonder and delight. Days turned into weeks, and Prince Frederick and Cedric lost themselves in the enchantment of the castle. They explored its hidden nooks and crannies, danced in its grand ballroom, and shared stories by the fireside, it was a place where their clumsiness was celebrated and their hearts were free to be themselves. But eventually they knew they had to return to the outside world. With heavy hearts, they bid farewell to the Enchanted Castle, knowing that its magic would forever be a part of them. As they emerged from the forest and returned to the kingdom, they brought with them the lessons they had learned. Prince Frederick's clumsiness was no longer a source of embarrassment, but a source of joy, and the kingdom welcomed him with open arms. The prince ruled with kindness and a generous spirit, always quick to share a laugh at his own expense, and the enchanted castle remained hidden in the depths of the forest, a magical reminder that sometimes it's our quirks and imperfections that make us truly extraordinary. And so the clumsy prince and his loyal servant lived happily ever after, their hearts forever touched by the enchantment of the castle hidden in the heart of the forest, where the ordinary became extraordinary and where the pure of heart found their true magic. The end.